There's a few questions on this I can see through here, so hopefully this answers a lot of them.
So this one's mine. So equipment at home. So this is a really tricky one now, and it's something that we all know as parents. So many things that help our little people, and our family members. So assistive technology to help build the skills at home can be approved, but it must be disability specific. So the scenario we were talking about before in relation to the kettle, um, and that it can be if it's a disability specific support. Just because you have low cost assistive technology included in your plan doesn't mean that you have the flexibility to spend that on whatever you interpret to be in that assistive technology category. The specialized items for feeding pumps, PEG, continence aids, hen products are included. Home modifications, if it is stated in the plan, so you can't just go ahead and do modifications, even such as taps and bathroom rails and things. They are not core items, they are home modifications, and it must be included in your plan because there's safety risks and things like that that are impacted by it. Modified and adapted clothing. So that is included, but you really do need to make yourself aware around the definition of what is modified and adaptive. So if your little person isn't able to do buttons, it might be something with Velcro, um, but something like elastic waisted pants isn't included, or sensory clothes without tags and seams and things like that is no longer included. So the clothing has been a big one that we all know the meltdowns in the morning over the socks that have the line on my toes and all those things that we're all. Oh, am I dropping out?
No.
Um, all those things that cause a meltdown, but they are no longer considered an NDIS support. So looking at things like crash mats, cloud sacks, bean bags, mellow mats, all the sensory things, the therapy items that you can get at Kmart, which they have such an amazing selection now. Timu as well have some really
Yeah.
cool stuff. None of that is included. And it is a shame, and I know it's a really hard thing to accept, but you are not able to claim those. Even if you are continuing that therapy at home, and it is such a benefit. I know with my children, I have a lot of that stuff, and really to help them to self regulate, and it helps their behavior, but it is a hard no. Kitchen appliances, baby monitors, high chairs, blenders are a no. They are ordinary household products. A high chair is different to a disability chair. So something that helps to position somebody at a table that can be purchased from Baby Bunting or something like that is not a disability support. It needs to have special requirements or to be stated in the participant's plan. Just because you have a little person who requires blended foods doesn't mean you can purchase a blender to be able to puree those foods. It also, like, there's so many different things around it, and you need to be either applying for that replacement support or at your review having that evidence to show why you need these different things in place. Any outdoor play equipment, toys, sports equipment is a hard no. So we get quite a number of requests for these rebound nets that allied health professionals are saying that they're disability support, they're needed. They are not. They can be purchased from Rebel Sport or things like that. Just because an allied health professional says you can have it doesn't mean it's an NDIS support. We're finding that allied health professionals are less and less informed themselves. They're not doing the research. Just because it says it in a report from them doesn't mean that NDIS say you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, the therapy items at home, so to continue work on occupational therapy or things like that. There are a number of NDIS plans coming out now where it specifically states that therapy equipment is not an NDIS support. Therapy equipment for use at home is not an NDIS support. So you would need to have these items specifically discussed in your planning meeting. So if you feel that there's something that can really benefit, then do the research before, take it to your LAC, talk to them about it, and have it in that discussion and presented to the planner, because it is more often than not, it is a no. These items are everyday items, unfortunately. And I saw a comment earlier as came up, in Temu, work out that these items are popular and they just keep making them and they're cheaper. Does it mean it's going to become, no longer an NDIS support? And fortunately for us, there are cheaper options that we can now access for a similar item. So that's something we've got to look at. Any sensory toys, fidget tools, chewy toys, things like that are no longer considered an NDIS support, unless, like I said, unless they're included in the plan. Laptops, iPads, watches are a no unless they're stated in the plan or approved as a replacement support.
So staying on this, so when Willow was younger, we did so much therapy at home. I got a heap of equipment. I went the cheaper option instead of buying from like heart or disability places for these like balancing blocks and things like that to do physio. I would get it at Kmart, so much cheaper. And we worked on so many things at home. And I know therapists were very much like, you need to keep working on this at home. Like Willow would see physio once every fortnight. So 1 hour out of 14 days isn't enough to keep that momentum going in that endurance and things like that. So it's like the NDIS are saying, no, they only work on it in their appointments. Don't worry about working on it at home. You don't need it. Like that 1 hour every 2 weeks. So I feel like in the end, it just doesn't make sense because they could benefit so much from home, whereas they're all about that early intervention and working on things. So then it takes less strain later on, which it just doesn't make sense. And I know you guys know it doesn't make sense, but that's just wild.
Yeah. And it's such a valid thing. Like we can all see that, and some of the NDIS's fight is, well, when they're an adult, they're not going to be able to just go on the swing and, in the middle of work or things like that. And it's like, no, but as an adult, they might be able to have a fidget toy in their pocket in a meeting, and that might help them function in a meeting. And so by building those strategies in them from a younger age, gives them a variety of skills that they can access for self-regulation and apply to different situations.
Absolutely.
But the NDIS don't see it that way. And we certainly hear all of you, like, Tara's just shared, we all live it and breathe it and see it. And, having a crash mat in our house saves my gyprock. That's, a punching bag also saves my gyprock. But is it an NDIS support? No, it's an ordinary piece of equipment in the household. So.
Yeah, which is not. I remember when Willow was younger, she used to be like, she would fall from, have days where she'd fall over. And then I think she was about 4 or 5 and she'd be like, this is your fault because you haven't been doing therapy at home with me. So even she knew how much that actually helped her. Like it's, crazy.